Yo, what's up, YouTube? It's Richawd back with another video. I just got off of work, man. This topic was just kind of on my mind as I, finished off my shift. It was a gritty day. Had to, y'all know how it be at work. It's kind of midway through the week. You know what I'm saying? So you just got to push through and get to the finish line. And the topic of this video just came to my mind. I feel like, they say, your brain starts to mature, when you enter your mid to late 20s. Your brain starts to advance and you start to look at things a lot differently. Recently I felt a lot of grief, in my spirit for, how I've treated people, in the past, just seeing how, I can affect people in a negative way, brought grief to my spirit, just realizing certain moments, in my life with people you can't get back, certain things you said you can't take back, and I've had to forgive myself. I've had to give myself a little grace, because I was young. I'm still young, and I've had a lot of anger, for a lot of my life, a lot of built up anger. I'm one who I would let anger build up. I wasn't very confrontational all the time, so certain things would offend me or make me feel some type of way, but I wouldn't address it, and I would let these things pile up, and there will always be an explosion. Some people say it's like a Libra thing, whoever's into all that astrology, whatever. But, I would tend to, give situations the benefit of the doubt, be very passive with situations, not really assert my opinions and, my presence on things as much. I would just go with the flow with things. And that will always lead to an explosion because I love very hard. I love extremely hard. I would give the shirt off my back to someone I love, bro. I would die for someone I love, bro. I should be able to say that on YouTube. I would. I was talking to a family member a couple weeks ago, and we was like, I try to avoid, strenuous situations. I try to avoid conflict. I try to avoid violence, but, let somebody do something to my family or somebody I love, bro. And, all that goes out the window. I would defend them with my life, bro. I would do anything for them. I would unalive for them, people, so it's like in self-defense, obviously. I'm, like I said, I don't seek problems, but my thing is, I would tend to let situations boil over, and, I was just feeling grief with, certain, relationships that, was damaged because of me. And like I said, bro, like I've had to forgive myself for how I've treated these people, and my main thing, bro, because with I ain't gonna say who, but somebody who, there was a time where we were going through a lot, and I will always have these situations and I will apologize after or whatever. And then I just got to a point with somebody that was like, man, don't even apologize to me no more, man. Right now at this point, an apology is changed behavior. That's what that person told me, and when I realized that my apologies didn't feel genuine anymore, that affected me. I was like, damn, I've really changed this person's perception of me because of my behavior, because of my behavior. they don't believe what I'm telling them right now. They don't believe them when I tell them I'm sorry when I am. They don't believe me when I tell them, I was just angry. I didn't mean that. They don't believe me. They didn't believe me. They say, I don't even want an apology no more. The best apology is change behavior at this point. And from that point on, bro, I started to value those relationships and the impact that I have on them more. I started to be more cautious of how I treat people, whether I'm angry or not. Just because you were angry isn't an excuse to do, dark things to people, to say dark, harmful, negative things to people, And consequences came for those actions, arguments, fights, all, And it humbled me, I've always been a very stubborn person, I was the kid growing up. I had good guidance, I had older brother, who I look up to this day. Growing up, I wanted to be just like him still, in a way, want to be somewhat like him. I want to be my own person, but, there's certain qualities and traits that he has that sticks with me, and, older sister, what I'm saying, that I always thought was cool and I looked up to, 2 older sisters, a younger sister. So it's like, 2 great parents, great family, great cousins, great, But I was the kid who people would tell me to go right and I would go left. People would tell me not to do this and I would do that. I was very stubborn, very hard-headed, I've been working on improving that to this day, Very stubborn, very hard-headed, I'm gonna do it my way. Is just how I've been, And, everybody in my family pretty much is, doing good in life. I'm doing okay. I'm not doing terrible, but, the people around me are, especially my older siblings have really set the blueprint. They're all educated. They all are getting into their careers. Even my younger sister, she's finishing up her schooling in college, So I have all these positive influences around me. I have people in my family who make, lucrative paychecks, that live a good life. They're not rich, but they live a good life. They live a good, comfortable life. I know what that looks like. I know what that takes. These people worked hard. These people went to school for this. These people grew up poor, in my family that have things now. They weren't spoon-fed. They had to work for that shit. And I used to get angry, and there was certain, family members who I would get into it with because they would say I'm spoiled. They would say I'm soft. They would say I'm this, I'm that. I'm not ready to deal with this. The real world is gonna humble me. Like they would tell me these things, and I would get angry because, like I said, I was stubborn. I was hard-headed. I knew everything. I'm a genius. I'm smarter than all you niggas. Like that's just how I was, And they was trying to prepare me for a lot of things. I just wouldn't listen, bro. I just wouldn't listen. They would get angry at me. They're like, why don't you listen to us? We just trying to put you on game. That's it. That's all we're here for. It's to put you on game, bro. But I thought I had it all figured out. I thought I knew what was best. Little old 15, 16-year-old me. I know everything. And life had to humble me, Your child gets to a point, when a child is little, you can whoop their ass, But eventually a child gets old enough and you stop giving them whoopings, and that's when you just got to let life whoop their ass, And that's the point my people got with me. They like, man, we've been trying to tell you this for a while now. You've been hard-headed. You've made bad decisions, Hey man, you got to start figuring it out at this point. You're an adult now. You're not a baby. We can't continue to hold your hand and try to baby you. We got to let you off the leash, and you got to fall and stumble and fall on your ass a little bit. You got to go out there and grind a little bit. Go through some rough days, tough days. Learn how to work hard. Learn what working hard means. I was immature when I went through that whole debacle with Amazon and ended up getting fired because of that whole situation. I've matured through that. I've been at this job over a month. I haven't missed a day. I haven't been late, you know. I've been doing the best I can, bro, you know, and hopefully it pays off, and, you know, I can turn this into better situations, you know. I'm just trying to progress in my life, you know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to progress. And, you know, like I said, my spirit has been a little weary, because it's like, you know, I've just been dealing with my past, my decisions, my bed that I'm laying in. I've been, you know, suffering through it. You know, it's been painful. You know, as the title of the video, it's been painful dealing with it. Realizing, you know, the problems I created. You know, realizing the dumb shit I was on. Realizing how much shit I really didn't know. I thought I knew it all, but I really didn't know shit. I thought I had it all figured out, but still I had a lot to learn, a lot to go. Very smart, very gifted. I'm not going to shorthand myself. You know, it's nothing wrong with being confident in yourself and in your abilities, and speaking highly of yourself and speaking life into your situations and your life, you know, speaking life over it, putting energy into it. There's nothing wrong with that. But you can't be too much in a bubble where, you know, you start living in la la land. You know, you got to stay in tune with reality. And I would say one of the best things that ever happened to me was getting fired from Amazon, bro. You know, because, you know, the way I was moving at Amazon was like a spoiled brat would move, you know, like a kid who ain't never had it hard will have to move. Even though, like I said, you know, I was spoiled to a degree. I went through hardship. I went through a lot of things growing up, some traumatizing things. But like I said, I've always had this support system through it all. So even through all the trauma, you know, I had this support system around me, so it wasn't terrible, you know. But you know, some bad things did happen, but I would say more good than bad happened growing up. I had a good childhood. But I've had to fight this grief that I've been feeling, and just this feeling of disgust for the person I've been to some people, you know. But all I can do is improve now, you know. All I can do is change my behavior. That's all I can do, you know. I got to give myself grace. I got to be able to tell myself, you were young, bro. It's okay. Yes, you had all these people guide you right. You feel like an F up right now. You feel like a screw up. You feel like a loser. Some people look at you like a loser. Some people laugh at you, scoff at you, don't respect you, don't respect your work ethic, don't respect what you stand for, don't respect what you stand. But that's okay, because you know that you speak genuinely from the heart. Even when I was fucking up, bro, I would speak genuinely from the heart, bro. I was wrong, but I felt I was so right, bro. You know, and that's something I will always give myself credit for, the genuineness I bring, bro, with this content, bro, because this shit is my heart and my soul in these videos, bro. You know, you don't get videos like this all over YouTube where someone can really break it down and be candid with you about situations in their life and be transparent about it, bro. You know, obviously I'm not going to tell y'all everything, but I'm gonna let y'all feel that pain a little bit, bro. Some people say, Richawd, you know, why do you continue to talk about these doomy topics? You should talk about this. You should talk about more positive things. Bro, I've talked about positive things. People don't want to hear that. I'm just being real, bro. And it's not just about what people want to hear, but I want my message to be felt and heard, bro. You know? I want people to listen to what I'm saying, and they can feel and resonate with this shit. I don't make videos just for anybody just looking for entertainment, bro. I make videos for the people going through the struggles, bro. You know, the everyday people who I relate to. I make videos for the people trying to get through their shift, trying to get to the end of the week, bro. I make videos for the downtrodden, people down on their luck, bro. I was just talking to a homie, man, graduate from college, all type of shit. His job just laid him off. He said, man, this year been rough for me. I'm thinking it's just me. I'm thinking, woe is me. I get fired from Amazon. I'm broke. I've been broke pretty much all year until I got this new job. Woe is me. Nobody's hiring. I can't find a good job. I'm talking to my educated homie, just graduated. He like, yeah, man, my job had laid me off, bro. And it's been tough finding good work out. He just finally recently got some shit. So it's like they finally starting to hire niggas and shit now. But a lot of niggas was going through that drought where it was like, in the area I'm in, the Midwest Chicago area, nobody was hiring, bro. Even I was looking everywhere, bro. Chicago, Indiana, everywhere, bro. Nobody was hiring, bro. It was like, I'm talking about a good job, bro. Like paying decent, bro. Like no, with good hours and shit. Like, yeah, bro. I make videos for the people going through that, bro. I make videos for the people who was in the spot that I was in, bro. Where it's like my dad in the hospital fighting for his life, bro. Fighting for his life, bro. I gotta go to this hospital room, bro, and look at this man struggling, bro. Struggling, bro, and I couldn't do shit about it, bro. Couldn't do shit about it, bro. Not knowing if he'll live or not, bro. Having to deal with that shit, bro, and not having my shit together. And the thing that was killing me, bro, it's like, man, I can't let this nigga live his last days and not see his son on top of shit, bro. Like no, nigga, like he gotta live, bro. I was praying so much for that man, bro. You gotta live, bro. You gotta live to see me get right, bro. You've lived long enough to see my sisters get right, my older brother get right. You gotta live long enough to see your last son get right, man. And that shit was hitting me, bro. It was traumatizing for me, bro. I needed that man to live, bro. And by the grace of God, he lived, and he's here with us, bro. Going through that and getting fired, bro. Not having any money. Nobody's hiring, bro. Your loved one fighting for their life. Your life in shambles. Getting into car accidents. Getting tickets. Having to go to court for shit. It seemed like the world was falling down, bro. And it felt like no matter what I did, bro, no matter how many applications I put in, bro, nothing was moving, bro. Nothing was progressing, bro. It's the most irritating state to be in, bro, where you know you're capable of doing this job, bro, that you're applying for. You know, if you get this goddamn job, bro, you're going to be there. You're going to be on time. You're going to be one of their best workers, bro. But they not giving you the opportunity. And you need this job and you need this money, bro. And they not giving you the opportunity, bro. And you got bills to pay. Homie got rent and all type of shit to pay. Family member I was just talking to a couple weeks ago. You know, out living, paying his own rent, all type of shit. His job just laid him off. He looking for more work. It's real out here, man. I make videos for motherfuckers going through that shit, bro. Yeah, you had the people who stand up on their high horse like, oh, just work harder. Oh, you're there because of your decisions. Yeah, okay, bro. Cool. We are here because of our decisions. I am here because of my decisions. We get that, bro. But that don't make what we going through any easier, nigga. What we supposed to do now, nigga? Just give up? We're losers. We're failures. Just stop down? Nah, man. My message to the people in my position, the people that get scoffed at, the people that get looked down upon. My message to you niggas is, no, it's not over, bro. It's not over, nigga. It's not over till we win, bro. Period. Fireworks. They getting ready for the 4th. It's not ready till it's over, nigga. We not done, bro. I'm here to put my spirit and put my soul out into the airways for niggas to hear and understand, nigga, that it is not over for niggas struggling, bro. It is not over for niggas going through depression, bro. It is not over for niggas who it seems like your world is falling down. Car note behind, rent behind, you finna get evicted, all type of shit going on. You just got fired. You can't get a new job. You got people that made better decisions in life. They looking down at you. You got people in your family. They looking down at you like, look, you should have listened to me. Now you're a bum. Now you're a loser. You feel like a screw up. You feel like a screw up and a damn idiot. I'm here to tell you it ain't over, bruh. It ain't over, bro. Them people laughing at you. Them people looking down at you. It ain't over. One day you gonna be looking eye to eye with them niggas, bro. And they gonna have to respect you, bro. One day, bro, as long as you do this, bro. As long as you don't continue to make the same dumbass decisions that have gotten you to this point, bro. I've made stupid decisions, and that's why I'm at this point. I was in college, bro. I was in college. Everything paid for. Dorm. No roommates. Everything laid out, bro. And I dropped out for what? For what? I'm supposed to have my degree right now. I'm supposed to be working a good job right now. But I chose to drop out to do what? To work? To kick it? To hoop? I had hoop dreams? Dumb decisions, bro. Should have stayed my ass in school, bro. Would have been graduating this year, the next year. But these are the decisions that I've made that put me in this situation where things were tough, where I can go through a drought. Bro, people with degrees struggle getting a job. So if you don't got a degree or you don't got a trade or some type of skill, bro, you know, it's hard out here, man. And then on top of that, not having a resume and shit like that, being at jobs fucking up, bro. These are decisions that I've made, bro, that have gotten me here. I don't know what your story is, but you've probably made some bad decisions, bro. If you're gonna be real with yourself, that have put you in this situation that you're in right now, where you're not where you should be right now. I make videos for the underachievers. Do y'all hear me, bro? Do y'all hear me, bro? I make videos for the underachievers, bro. That are at some job and you know you should be doing better, bro. Every day you clock into that job, you're angry because you know you should be doing something better with your life, but you can't stop because this is the opportunity that you have right now. So you gotta pimp it, bro. No matter how much you feel you should be in better, actually you shouldn't. No matter how much when I clock into my job, I feel like I should be in a better situation, actually I shouldn't. This is exactly where I should be. I need to go through this pain, this struggle, these long, hard, treacherous hours, bro. Get this bread, get a trade, and start making some real money, bro. Get the trade, make some real money, then go back to school, then make some real money. Or who knows, maybe the trade makes me enough real money where I don't even got to go back to school. But a skill is needed. Schooling is needed. This is my message to all the people out there struggling right now. A skill is needed. Get into a skill, bro, that is lucrative. Get into carpentry, construction work. That's going to be here forever. People are always going to need their plumbing fixed. People are always going to need their windows fixed, their lawns mowed, their roof fixed, their garage fixed. Get into something that's lucrative, that ain't going nowhere, that AI ain't going to come taking 5 to 10 years, which AI is going to take a lot of shit. That's my message to you, bro. We got to go harder, man. We got to go harder, bro. When I went through everything I went through this year, bro, it has put something inside of me, bro, that I can't explain, bro. But it's like, it's a certain will. It's a certain fire to not fail, bro. To not take for granted any opportunity I get, bro. To go hard at whatever I fucking do, bro. To better my situation. Because I got to win in life, bro. You who feel like you losing right now. You got to win in life, bro. But you ain't going to win unless you put the work in, bro. I promise you that. You ain't going to win if you keep victimizing yourself and making excuses for your shortcomings. You got to take accountability for your fuck-ups. I've had to take accountability for my screw-ups. And we got to do better. You know better, now do better. To know better and not do better is to be a fool. What is a fool? Someone who does foolish behaviors, foolish activities over and over and over again. That is a fool. To do dumb shit over and over again and never learn. Everybody does dumb shit. Not everybody's a fool. Some people do dumb shit and they're like, oh, you know when you're a kid and your mom tell you don't touch the stove. Like I said, I was a hard-headed kid. Don't touch that stove. That stove is hot. Watch out for that stove, boy. Oh, okay, mom. Okay, mom. My mom ain't looking. Man, I'm gonna touch the stove. Ah! Boy, then I tell your ass not to touch the damn stove. Now you getting a whooping. Hey, sometimes you gotta burn your hand, man. And this life, like I said, bro, life gotta whoop your ass a little bit, man. That's the only way you gonna get that dog inside of you, bro. That's the only way you're going to get that killer will inside of you. You, no matter how hard it gets on that shift, bro, you're not stopping, bro, until it's over. You're not giving up. You're not quitting until you get better or until this situation is over. But, man, that was just heavy on my heart today, bro. I hope everybody's good, bro, for real. Like I said, bro, I don't make videos for everybody. One of the things that, is in my visions, one One of the things I always think about in vision, kind of have visions about what my channel is, to document and to show the good, the bad, and the ugly as I'm coming up and as I'm maturing and as I'm growing through things. And for y'all to one day see me doing well and filled with wisdom, filled with knowledge, filled with ideas. It's going to be amazing when y'all see the final product, because I'm going to keep making these videos, bro. As long as I can, bro. Even when I'm doing better in life and got a better job and all that, as long as YouTube is here, I'm going to continue to make videos, bro. And it's going to be very lucrative one day, bro. Because it's going to be a journey. It's going to be a story behind it. And it's going to be documented. It's going to be people who going to remember me when I was that dumb fool at Amazon complaining about how life is on the job, to the matured, adult, family man version that y'all going to see of me one day. Y'all going to be like, man, that brother matured, man. I want to hear his story. I want to learn how he made it to where he made it. How does he think? It's going to attract a lot of people. I know it is. But to all the people, bro, who are just going through the struggle in life, bro, who are feeling pain, bro. What they say, what don't kill you only make you stronger, bro. Now that don't kill me will only make me stronger. I need you to hurry up, man, because I can't wait much longer. I know I got to be right, man, because I can't get much wronger. Man, I've been waiting all night. That's how long, you know what I'm saying? We gonna get this right, bro. It's not gonna happen overnight. You're not gonna get to this point to where I've gotten overnight, where you just see things from a different lens, where you understand, how much you've contributed to your situation, how much control you've had over things. There's certain things I haven't had control over, but it's a lot of things that I have had control over, and I didn't make the right decision. That's nobody's fault but my own. And once you get to that point, bro, and you start correcting some of these poor behaviors, your life will get better. I'm slowly starting to correct these behaviors, bro, and my life is going to get better. It's already been getting better, and it's just going to get better and better and better, bro, because I'm blessed. I wake up every day, I pray faithfully through the good and through the bad. Good days I pray, bad days I pray, and everything I get is because of God, man. Let's not forget that. But we're going to keep fighting, bro. I know the world is crazy right now. It was looking like, things was going to get crazy for a minute. Trump done sent the blitz to Iraq and Iran and shit. Like, hey, man, it was looking like we was going to have to send the troops for real, and then, and on top of many other things going on, inflation, grocery prices, same old, same old. It seems like any day something can just pop off, you wouldn't be surprised. But as long as we're here and we're breathing, bro, and if you're listening to me right now, you're hearing, you're breathing, we're gonna make the best of every fucking day, bro. We're gonna make the best of every day we got until we ain't got no days no more. That's how we gonna live, bro. We're going to understand. We're going to be realistic, okay? We're going to get out of la-la land. We're going to get out of cope land. And we're going to get into reality, because ain't nothing like reality hitting your ass. Ain't nothing like when reality hits your ass. It's nothing like it. And it's either going to break you or make you. And I believe it's going to make you, bro. And as long as you believe that the things you've gone through and that the realities of life will make you, you're going to be fine, bro. Because it's going to hurt. It's going to be crucial. You're going to realize the sense of urgency with things. But it's going to be the best thing that ever happened to you, because it's going to turn you into a man. It's going to make you realize that you have a responsibility while you're here. You have to discover your purpose while you're here, and you have to build a lineage, to be fruitful and to multiply is, the agenda for us, the plan for us. And we have to fulfill this plan, this purpose. This is our reason for living. I was talking to a loved one, and he was telling me, like, you know, a lot with him has changed after having his first child. You know, just realizing things, you know, having that responsibility, you know. It's a great thing, though, because he's a better man because of it, you know. The pain that we go through in life, the hardships, the struggle, the urgency, it makes us better, bro. Because think about it like this. If we didn't have this urgency, if we didn't go through this pain, if we didn't have all these, you know, things on our mind, we wouldn't go hard. We wouldn't get the best out of ourselves. We wouldn't get the best out of life. Maybe that's why Eve and Adam were so bored. It was nothing to do. Maybe that's why they disobeyed. It was nothing to do. So we just got to maneuver through this and find our purpose, bro. And I feel like the purpose of a man is to build a lineage and leave something behind. Leave something to build off of. Leave instruction. Leave knowledge. Leave resources. Leave culture. We got to get back to that. Family oriented. It's a lot out there in the media trying to get us away from family oriented situations. We need to focus on that. Because that's all that matters, bro. When you're gone, bro, those are the people who are really going to remember you, bro. Your family. The people who you really impacted. So wherever you are in life, you have to figure out, how the hell am I going to build my legacy? What am I going to leave behind? And how am I going to leave that behind? What is it going to take for me to leave that behind? And you have to, by hook or by crook, do whatever it fucking takes to build that legacy, bro. Or else, what's the point in living, bro? What's the point in living if you don't got a purpose and you don't got a legacy that you're building towards and that you're trying to leave behind? What's the point of all of this? What's the point of going through pain if you're not going to go through that pain and not make that pain be in vain, bro? Why go through pain in vain when you can go through pain and that pain can build character, you know, can build character that isn't to be tampered with, isn't to be messed with, bro. Character that is firm, character that is magnetic, character that is influential, bro. That's what pain builds. Character that makes you different, character that makes you empathize, character that makes you feel. Being amongst the struggling, being amongst the people going through hardships, it brings soul out of you. You don't get disconnected. The money can disconnect you sometimes. You're not going around the broke people. You're not going around this. You're not going around that. You're not really in tune with what's going on. But when you're really in that, you will never forget that. And God willing, you get through it. You'll be a better person, better man, better woman because of it, bro. So that's why we go through pain, bro. Because without pain, there's no improvement. You know? Kobe Bryant, after Shaq left, he went through pain, losing, you know, those first few years without Shaq. If he didn't go through that pain of losing, he probably wouldn't have built the will to strive and go win 2 more without Shaq. Jordan felt pain when he lost to the Pistons. If he didn't feel that pain, he probably wouldn't have got in the weight room and got stronger and brought different aspects to his game. See, it's the pain that makes us improve. Without pain, you know, we get complacent. But that pain brings that reality to your ass. And that reality is either going to make you or it's going to break you. Peace and love. I'm out.